Hello and welcome to our second part of creativity. That is, what does an entrepreneur require? Entrepreneurship. And this way, last time I spoke to you about Six Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. Possibly you would have seen the presentation, the blue hat, which is a sky hat, the red hat, which is a caution hat, black hat, which is like the white is the data one, the black is the caution one, red is the emotion one. The idea is remember these hats and think about it as solving a problem. The green hat is the growth hat with creativity, solutions are play, and that is what an entrepreneur requires. There's another technique by Tony Buzan. There's another great master in mind mapping. So Tony Buzan has created something called a mind map, which is also called a spider diagram. So example, you basically have a big central idea. And what you do is you write the central idea in the middle of it. Let's say traffic problem. And then you say, what can I do? I can go by train. So there is one more. So I'll write the big one which says, I just put T for traffic idea. And my solution could be train. So there is a train coming in. My solution could be, carpooling. My solution could be something else. And suddenly, and then in train also, I can take the fast train. I can take a AC coach. And suddenly there are small branches from each of it, which is what a mind map is all about. And Tony Buzan has some great mind maps. In fact, at the end of every chapter, you have a mind map of the entire chapter summary, which is a great way to quickly recap what all you have learned so far. Then there is again lateral thinking by a same author of Six Thinking Hats, Edward de Bono, which says a problem can be looked at a different perspective. That is, you think laterally. You don't just look at point A to B. Rather, you immediately think of it. For example, what's the shortest distance between a point A to a point B? And you think it's a straight line. But what if I were to fold the paper, the point becomes zero. That's the way the black hole concept is given. And that is the kind of concept we are looking into our programs right here. All right, so let me do the index question before we quickly go ahead. Quickly, blue hat 4.2 represents sky, which is true. Yes, it is the process hat. It's a hat you start with. Green hat is for growth. Yes, that's also correct. Sixth thinking hat was developed by Edward de Bono. That's right. A road bridge is applicable to solve the problem of congestion on road bridge. No, that's a false question, a false one. Fill in the blanks. When the solution to a problem can be found by unorthodox method, it is called, well, that's lateral thinking, right? So dash means leaving behind traditional mode. Again, it's lateral thinking. The term lateral thinking was designed by or coined by Edward de Bono. Fair enough. Dash are drawn on paper or whiteboard. These are the mind maps that are drawn on whiteboard and paper. Scamper technique is for, remember, whatever we spoke of, substitute and all of it is for brainstorming. And dash approach is used for optimistic view. Which hat? Which hat is used for optimistic view? Yellow. Remember the sunshine hat. So that's the optimistic view you're talking about. And all these are hat questions. I think you can do it better. Just look at it. Start solving. For example, my white hat will be, white hat is always about data. So this is the data part. What about the red hat? Red hat would be about emotion. See, the word keyword is emotion here. I can quickly go for red hat in emotion. My blue hat would be, blue is always the sky, focus on process. So blue hat comes in here. Why do I have to go? Green hat, now it's very easy. Green hat has to be creative. So I have got a creative problem here. Yellow hat is all about, you know, optimistic view, sunshine hat. And the black hat again I go is legality, morality, caution, judgment. So this is fun understanding it. And once you understand the hats, any long answers can be answered easily. Now, the last module says hindrance to creativity. What could be the hindrance to creativity? Think about it. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to be creative, let's say even in a school, let's make it easy. Why can't the schools be creative? Reliance on expert. CBSE says only a B.Ed teacher can teach, and then I've seen teachers or non-B.Ed teach better. No disrespect to other teachers with qualification, but expert reliance. Lack of resources. Sometimes we don't have a playground. Sometimes we don't have a library. Sometimes we think we don't have resources. That's a good economic barrier. Cost. Money has always been a lack of that. You can write an extra point there. Decision making, the hierarchy, the bureaucratic process, the principal, the management has to approve everything, and that's a big challenge we've got. Too much of cooperation. So you have to wait for others to come in. Team has to be formed. Competition is too much. You do something good and someone else comes in. These are generic answers. You don't have to think too much. And how can I overcome them? So simple ways to overcome it is find good resources, find good coaches, have a change in attitude, aptitude, make decision making easier, and allow people to quickly find over it. So you can, these are very generic ideas. I am not going tactical hindrances, analytical hindrances. All of these are part of all the hindrances. Today we have no creativity because our ideas do not come. We are not reading enough. You can write that. New thoughts come by traveling, reading. We don't do that. We are looking at no skills in, so problem solving is a skill. We don't have skills available. Also the techniques, for example, teachers have learned about Maslow's hierarchy, but they don't know what it is. It's rote learning, focus on rote learning. Also, no follow-up happening, feedback is not given properly, people are not looking at follow-ups. All of it, hindrances is have better ideas, create personal milestones, encourage, motivate, great team building habits, build a culture of fostering collaboration instead of competition. So these are very generic ones, and that is why I'm giving you a generic version of it. Hindrances are support in the way of creativity. Of course they are not. They are hindrances. That's what they're obstacles. So it's false. If you dislike uncertainty, you'll fear being creative. That's true, right? Being creative is to embrace the ambiguity, embrace the uncertain nature of the work we do. Number three, self-confidence means to the trust or the faith with you. And yes, self-confidence is yourself. You start with it. Great. Finally, what are we talking about? Fill in the blanks. Set way of thinking which tends to occur subconsciously, because of which people fail to think differently as per the need of the hours, is called as, oh my God, this is habits. It is just a habit, the way you have formed a habit. A lot of time we don't grow because our habits say that. We've been told so often, you're dumb, you can't write well, you can't speak well. So it's just, the word is habit. It's too complicated a sentence. Sometimes too much cooperation can, it's an adjective, prevent the ideas to grow. Okay, so there we are. Last, I'll do the match the following. Lack of committed resources. What happens there? Well, that is a lack of committed resource would be probably a local environmental factors, right? It's a surrounding factor. Need for conformity. Conformity is from people, so it's personal. And lack of following is a tactical version of it. So these are the way we're looking into. Congratulations, you've done all the chapter. Read through what you've learned. There are terminal questions where I can quickly run through. We've done most of the terminal questions, so you can look into those. What is entrepreneurial creativity? We spoke about ability, creativity, imagination, ingredients of creativity. Write about Scamper itself. Read the acronym. Lateral thinking is Edward D. Bono. Brainstorming, we spoke about the 4 steps, right? Norming, performing. First is brainstorming is a part of it. A lot of it. Mind mapping is Tony Buzan, where we call spider map we do. And finally, one's destination is never place. I always say that's also for a 10. It is a milestone, but we keep moving, we keep traveling. That's how we learn. So all the best and do well. It's an easy chapter. It's a very generic chapter, and hopefully you'll do well there. Thank you.